making it known that they are going to get into his head. Good evening, everybody, and welcome here to the Eagles Nest. My name is Zachary Payne. Alongside me is my broadcast partner, Will Hadley, and today we have a wonderful game for you as your Eagles of Oklahoma Christian get ready to take on the Texans of Tarleton State University. Will, Oklahoma Christian coming off of a big win against St. Mary's in overtime this past weekend.
Yeah, that was a huge win at St. Mary's. The first time that the Eagles have gone down there and beat St. Mary's at their place in a long time. So that was just a quality win for Coach Talley in this program, and they're going to look to extend that forward into this one.
Well, one big person for Oklahoma Christian that has done amazing all season for OC has been Deidrean Palmer Jr., who was just named for the third week this season as Player of the Week. How does he affect the game here tonight?
Yeah, Deidrean is so dynamic. He can shoot from outside when he needs to. But more importantly, he's such a force down low. So they're going to get it to him and look to him to get some screens and try to open up some space for him to drive to the bucket.
Well, in the last game against St. Mary's, Will Linhard was playing for OC, and he looked back like his old self from a year ago, averaging about 12 rebounds per game, doing very well. How does he affect the game here tonight, especially with Palmer Jr. out there as well?
Yeah, like you mentioned, Will has just kind of been plagued with injuries this year, but he's back and he's healthy, so he's going to be a huge help. There were some games that slipped away from the Eagles earlier this year, like the one at Texas A&M, or here against Texas A&M Kingsville specifically, where the Eagles probably would have pulled it out if Will was in the lineup, because he just helps the lineup that much. The plus minus when Will is on the floor is really good. So just him being able to go in and get rebounds, and especially have all the defense shrink into him so he can push outside, it helps this team so much.
Well, Oklahoma Christian does not have an easy opponent here tonight as they face Tarleton State University. And Tarleton State is 6-7 on the regular season, coming off of a win against Texas A&M International. They have three big players that are like the dynamic trio, if you would like to say that.
Yeah, Randall Brody, who's averaging 11 points per game, Isaiah Range, who's averaging 17, and then Josh Hawley, who's averaging 12. Those guys are going to get it done for the Texans. This is a quality team. This is arguably one of the best teams this Eagles team will see all year. I know you got a chance to talk to Coach Talley. What were some of the things that Coach Talley said about this team?
Well, when I talked to Coach Talley today, he said this is a very, very good and athletic team. He said they're very big all around the floor, as we can see here already with them warming up behind us. This team is very quick. They know how to put shots up. They know how to play together. They've played together for multiple years now. So Oklahoma Christian's got a tough task defensively. If they can stop them offensively, though, Tarleton State isn't that great of a defensive team. So that's why some of the teams that they played this year have been able to come away with victories against them. They're very talented offensively, just not very talented defensively.
Yeah, and so the Eagles are going to have to match them in scoring. They're going to have to when they get a stop, or even when they don't, just getting the ball out quick and going and scoring quick and making sure that they slice through the defense as much as they can, wear these guys out, make them sub in and out more.
So besides scoring offensively to try to match them, how do they stop them defensively with them being such a good offensive team?
Well, I mean, it all comes down to just playing sound, fundamental defense. You just have to, if you're in man-to-man, you have to do everything right. You have to be in help side when you need to be in help side. You have to catch that backside lob when you need to. Just all simple little things like that is what makes the difference in winning a game defensively and losing.
Well, Oklahoma Christian, obviously not a tough task here tonight, but who needs to step up? Besides Deidrean Palmer Jr., who's been doing that all season to keep his team in these ball games, besides Palmer Jr., Who needs to step up?
Well, I feel like there's been a trend that whenever Aubrey Johnson plays well, then the rest of the team plays well. When he's shooting well from beyond the arc, then everyone else kind of starts to get in their rhythm and open up a little bit more too, especially from beyond the arc. So look for Aubrey Johnson to kind of create a spark in this one.
Well, that's going to do it for our pregame here. We're going to step away, and we'll be back with the opening tip-off right after this.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out?
Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars.
Wow.
But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
Retirement?
I'd love to, but I'm pretty busy with all this.
Yeah. Hey, let's meet our retirement coach, Avo. A is for taking action.
Not anxiety?
No, Kevin, you're gonna be fine.
You sing?
Barely. V is for variety.
And you dance?
Sort of. Come on. O is for optimize your savings.
Let Avo lead the way.
Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
Nice.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Sam, Elmo.
Oh, hey, Julia. You ready to play band with us? I'm going to play my clarinet.
And Elmo's going to play his drum.
Drum loud.
Oh, well, you know what to do, Julia.
Julia knows.
With Julia's autism, loud sounds can be too much.
But she still loves to make music.
Play band.
Early screening for autism can make a lifetime of difference. Find out more at screenforautism.org.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham-bam minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Making it known that they are going to get into his head. Welcome back to the Eagle Sports Network. My name is Zachary Payne. Alongside me is my broadcast partner, Will Hadley. Will, Oklahoma Christian, coming off of a big win this past Saturday against St. Mary's.
Yeah, that was a really solid win for this program. They've just really done a lot better than people expected this year. They've come out and they've played really well. This is a really athletic team, especially behind Dadrian Palmer. So they're going to try to feed off of that energy from last game and come into this game and just dominate.
Well, it's not going to be a very easy task, as Tarleton State is 6-7 on the regular season, but they got a three-headed monster out there with three great shooters.
Yeah, they really do. And we're going to just have to match them up with our athleticism, to be honest. I mean, we're going to have Anthony Johnson and Dadrian Farmer specifically use their Marcus Blackwell use their athleticism to come out and shut these guys down.
Well, Oklahoma Christian, after getting their previous win, increased to 5-8 on the regular season, and that's still in the middle of the pack as they take 12 teams to the conference tournament. So that right now they're in the middle of the pack. So if the conference ended today, as the season ended today, they would be in the conference tournament.
Yeah, and that's huge. If the Eagles can get into the conference tournament, that would be huge for them in their first year in the Lone Star Conference. And I think that's kind of the goal for this Eagles team. And I think Coach Talley is kind of telling these guys, you know, we're getting better every single day, but at the end of the season, you know, the sky's the limit. There's no telling what this team can do when they play together, when they play smart, when they play athletic.
Well, after talking to Coach Talley earlier today, Tarleton State, he said, is a very athletic school and a very tall team, or player team. And this team can shoot very well, but he said if Oklahoma Christian can get into their head and make it so where they're not shooting as well, they can score offensively down at their end, because Tarleton State is not the best defensive playing team.
Yeah, I think that the Eagles just have to force Tarleton State to get undisciplined on defense. They have to get them out of their positions and really force them to struggle. And the way they do that is by using their athleticism, by feeding Dadrian Farmer, by feeding Will Linhart and York Benton.
Well, one thing that helps Oklahoma Christian is right now in the Lone Star Conference, they are ranked number 1 out of all the teams in the Lone Star Conference in points, allowing the least amount of points offensively for a team.
Yeah, and that's an important trait to have as defenses. Like coaches always say, defense wins championships, right? So if they want to be able to come into the Lone Star Conference tournament and really make a run, then the defense has to be there.
As we get ready to start play here, the starting lineups for the away team is number 0, Devin Bentley, a guard, and then number 3, Randall Brody, one of the three-headed monsters, or one of the heads on the three-headed monster, as another guard, and then number 12, Zach Naylor, another guard, and then number 24, Isaiah Range, and then number 32, Josh Hawley. Oklahoma Christian's starting lineup getting ready to take the floor, and starters for OC is number 5, Dadrian Palmer Jr. forward, and then number 11, Jonathan Reyes Valdez at guard, and then number 15, Aubrey Johnson, who is also a guard, the senior captain, and then number 25, Will Linhart at the forward position, and then number 32, Robert Gregg is out there, or excuse me, number 30, Marcus Blackwell is out there for OC.
And a lot of fans here in attendance for this game. Part of that is due to the really good traveling from Tarleton State, as that's a miss there, but a rebound from Marcus Blackwell, as there's a lot of purple in this crowd from the Tarleton State fans.
So now Jonathan Reyes Valdez gives it to Aubrey Johnson on the right wing, 9 seconds on the shot clock. Now over to Marcus Blackwell. Pass down low to Will Linhart, back to Blackwell. Blackwell for 3. In and out of the bucket, rebounded by number 12, Zach Naylor, who then gives it to Bethley. Bethley then gives it to number 3, Brody. Brody then back to Bethley. Pass down low to Hawley. Hawley then passes out to number 12, Zach Naylor, who puts the first points on the board for either team. So now Marcus Blackwell gives it to Jonathan Reyes Valdez at the top of the arc. Now to Dadrian Palmer Jr. His shot is blocked but rebounded by Will Linhart. 9 seconds on the shot clock, and that's going to be a backcourt violation as it goes off of Aubrey Johnson's foot. So not the start Oklahoma Christian was wanting.
No, definitely not, but they're going to have to buckle up on defense right here.
As Bethley gets the inbound. Moves over to the left side, hands it off to Brody. Brody then to Naylor. Now back to Bethley. Bethley for three, no good. Deflected, and is going to be last touch by Will Linhart as it goes out of bounds. So it will be Tarleton State basketball. And then on the inbound, it is stolen away as Jonathan Reyes-Valdez came out like a cornerback on that play. And now OC has a chance to tie the game up here as Aubrey Johnson now has it. Starts to drive in, puts up a floater. No good on the floater, rebounded by Holly. So now to number 12, Zach Naylor, who drives in, puts up a shot and was fouled. The bucket falls, so he will go to try to convert a three-point play for the Texans.
And so the Texans have jumped out early on here. They have a 5-0 lead.
So now Oklahoma Christian needs to get a bucket here on this possession. As Jonathan Reyes-Valdez starts to drive in, gets a screen from Palmer Jr. Now over to Marcus Blackwell, who then gives it to Aubrey Johnson. Now to Reyes-Valdez. Starts to drive over, gives it to Blackwell. 10 seconds on the shot clock, back to Reyes-Valdez. Moves over to the right side, bounce pass down to Palmer. 5 seconds, needs to get a shot off. 3 seconds, passes it to Valdez. Valdez for three, off the rim, no good. Offensive rebound by Will Linhart.
Good job there by Will Linhart to high point that ball.
So now, Reyes-Valdez gives it to Aubrey Johnson. Aubrey Johnson gets a little bit of separation, gets the shot off. Looks like his hand was deflected, but another offensive rebound for OC as Palmer Jr. gets the first points up on the board.
Nice bucket there by Dadrian Palmer. They're going to need to feed him a lot more.
As now Naylor passes it over to Brody, who puts up a three from the left corner. And it is now 8-2 with 17 minutes left here in this first half of play. So now Reyes-Valdez gets a screen from Will. Nice job by Bethley to avoid the screen. Over to Blackwell, then there's a foul called, and it looks like it's going to be a defensive foul on number 32, Josh Holly. So OC will remain with the basketball as Aubrey Johnson gives it to Adrian Palmer Jr., who tries to drive in, somehow manages to keep control of the basketball as it looks like it was deflected out of his hand. And he will go to the free throw line to shoot two.
And Dadrian is going to have to take over this game. He seems like the only one on the Eagles right now that can really produce on offense. He's going to have to get the rest of his team going.
So Palmer Jr. named to Player of the Week for the third time this season. Makes the first attempt at the free throw line. Makes it a 5-point game, still has one more attempt. As the shot is up, and it is good in OC. Now down by just 4. So Bethley passes it to Range. Range then passes it back to Zach Naylor. Now over to Brody, who just made a three in the left corner. Quick passes along the perimeter, pass down low now to Holly, who puts up the jumper and makes that shot. So now Reyes-Valdez at the top, moves over on the right side. Forced to pick up his dribble. Passes it down to Will Linhart, then back out to Marcus Blackwell. Blackwell for three, no good on the three-point attempt, rebounded by Brody. Brody then passes it over to number 24, Range. And Range is called with a travel. And with that, we have our first media timeout, so we will step away. OC trails by 6.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie. Nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Welcome back to the Eagles Nest. Oklahoma Christian off to a slow start, only having one bucket from the field, and that was from Deidre and Palmer Jr. And the other 2 points were from the free throw line, also by Deidre and Palmer Jr. Will, what does this Oklahoma Christian need to do to try to get back in this game?
Really, they have to do a better job of closing out on shooters on defense. It seems like they're kind of just letting the Texans run wild across the perimeter, and so they need to shut down the perimeter as soon as they can.
It's Aubrey Johnson. Passes it to Deidre and Palmer Jr. as it looks like there was a little bit of a half-court trap there. So now Reyes Valdez back to Junior. Now over to Aubrey Johnson. Aubrey Johnson now to Reyes Valdez. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Needs to get her. There's Blackwell now. Back to Valdez. Reyes Valdez for three. Nothing but net. Now a shot. Now a three-point game. As range now works. Passes it down low inside the paint. Quick passes from the Texans. So now Bethley puts up a shot. Tries to give it to range and is stolen away by Marcus Blackwell. On the fast break over to Reyes Valdez. A little too far in front there. And Reyes Valdez does save it from going out of bounds, but has to hold on to it. Now Aubrey Johnson. Gives it to Palmer Jr. Bounce pass down low, out to Blackwell. Blackwell for three. In and out of the cylinder there, and that's the second time that's happened to Marcus Blackwell here tonight.
And the Eagles, if they can start hitting their buckets, they can get back into this game. I mean, it's only a three-point game.
As Brody
make that 6
for a long three from downtown. It is now 13-7. And Brody has 6 points on 2 shots made, both from behind the arc. So Reyes Valdez with the bounce pass to Aubrey Johnson. Now over to Marcus Blackwell. Reyes Valdez already good from behind the arc. Gives it to Marcus Blackwell, then gives it to Will. Then tries to get it to Palmer Jr. and is tipped and stolen away by number 12, Zach Naylor. And now Bethley passes it back to Zach Naylor, who his shot is no good on the running layup. So Aubrey Johnson now at the top of the arc. OC working along the perimeter, gives it to Blackwell. Back to Aubrey Johnson, 14 seconds left. Palmer Jr. starts to drive in. Loses control of it and is stolen away by Range. So now Naylor over to Range. Range starts to drive in, loses control of the ball. Looks like there was a little bit of contact there. No foul called, and OC gets a little bit of a break. So Reyes Valdez now slows it down for OC. Gives it to Will at the top, then sets a screen for him and hands it back off to Reyes Valdez. Valdez starts to drive in. Nice behind the back pass to Will. Now back over to Aubrey, back down to Will. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Palmer Jr. notices step back jumper, no good. Offensive rebound for Marcus Blackwell. Reyes Valdez gives it to Aubrey Johnson. 10 seconds on the shot clock again. Back to Reyes Valdez, starts to drive in, drives along the baseline, gives it to Palmer Jr., who needs to put up a shot. Will gets it, just throws it up, and that is going to be a shot clock violation for Oklahoma Christian. So it will be Tarleton State basketball. As number 14, Jonathan Hopkins has it. The ball for Tarleton State, pass down low to number 33, Clayshawn Gaffney, who with a nice post move makes the easy layup. So now Reyes Valdez at the right wing gives it over to number 23, DJ Walter, who's checked in the game for OC. Now to York Benjamin. York Benjamin drives in. Nice move by York. Easy layup. Nice job, matching up against Clayshawn Gaffney. So now Hopkins gets a screen from Gaffney over to number 4, Isaiah Boyling. Tipped and almost stolen away, but saved offensively and then deflected and out of bounds. And it looks like we're going to have a media timeout. So we're going to step away and we'll be back with more right after this.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
Welcome back to the Eagles Nest. Oklahoma Christian trails by just 6 with 11:19 left here in the first half of play. Oklahoma Christian still somehow staying in this game when they really have not been able to do much offensively.
Yeah, they really haven't, and that's just been because their shots haven't been falling. They've been getting good shots, they're just not hitting them. So really, they can change this game. They can turn it around quick.
As Boyling inbounds the ball to number 14, Hopkins, who his shot from behind the arc is no good and goes out of bounds. And that missed shot got Coach Talley extremely amped over there for Oklahoma Christian. There's Jonathan Reyes Valdez now with a bounce pass to York Benjamin at the free throw line. York hands it off to Aubrey Johnson. Back to Reyes Valdez. Resetting the play for OC. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Now over to Aubrey Johnson. Needs to pass it. Does not get around the screen. Quick pass down low. Deflected almost. And now is stolen away by number 4, Isaiah Boyling. But then stolen away by Aubrey Johnson on the fast break. Lays it up and he is fouled and will go to the free throw line to shoot 2.
Good job there by Aubrey Johnson to turn his defense into his offense.
So Aubrey Johnson, senior guard for Oklahoma Christian, makes the first attempt at the free throw line. And that is going to be Aubrey Johnson's first point of the night. And his second attempt is also good. So now number 12, Zach Naylor, checks back into the ball game and will inbound the ball to number 14, Hopkins. Now to Brody, over to Boyling. Back to Hopkins. Hopkins starts to drive in, passes it out to Boyling for 3. No good. Rebounded by York Benjamin. OC down by 4 with the ball. Moves over at the top of the arc, starts to drive in. Nice kick back out. And they're going to say Deidrean Palmer Jr. walked, but it did not look like he walked there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the right call. I think he took a couple of little steps, but I think he just lost his footing. There's not really much to do about that. He just kind of lost his balance there.
So now Naylor will inbound the ball to Hopkins. Quick pass over to number 10, Dexter Johnson. Back to Hopkins. Hopkins then quick pass over to Boiling. Quick passes along the perimeter for the Texans. Deflected from behind by Marcus Blackwell, but recovered by Gaffney, whose shot is no good, but gets his own rebound and lays that up and in. So now OC back down by 6 as we're at the halfway point here in the first half. DJ Walters gives it to Marcus Blackwell. Now to Reyes Valdez. Taking his time. Back to 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Gets a screen from York. York Benjamin gets the ball down low and then loses control of it. And it is stolen away by Tarleton State. So now Zach Naylor gives it to Boiling. Over to Hopkins. Hopkins for a long 3, in and out of the hoop. Rebounded by Boiling, but he tries to save it from going out of bounds. It does not. And they are going to say it is going to be Oklahoma Christian basketball. And now they're going to switch the ruling there as Boiling tried to throw it off of York Benjamin. And from the original play, watching it live, it did not look like it hit York Benjamin, who was on the floor.
And really, the Eagles are not really even close to being out of this. It's only a 2-possession game, and that's now 3 as Gaffney just throws it down there. Good ball movement there by the Texans to lead to the emphatic finish by Gaffney.
So now, Reyes Valdez needs to try to get something going for Oklahoma Christian here on this possession as they're down by 8. Now gives it to Aubrey Johnson. Quick pass over to Blackwell. Now to York. York gets the ball deflected from behind, but it goes straight to Aubrey Johnson. Aubrey Johnson keeps possession of it. Quick pass over to DJ Walter. Walter, highly contested 3, nothing but net on the shot.
That was a nice shot there by DJ Walter. As you saw, there was a contest there by Naylor, but DJ stayed in the air for just a little longer. It looked like he was floating there, holding the ball and released it at the very top of his jump.
And that brings it back down to a 2-possession game. And there was a foul called on DJ Walter down at the other end. And it looks like we are going to have a third media timeout, so we are going to step away. And we'll be right back right after this.
Retirement?
I'd love to, but I'm pretty busy with all this.
Yeah. Hey, let's meet our retirement coach, Avo. A is for taking action.
Not anxiety?
No, Kevin, you're gonna be fine.
You sing?
Barely. V is for variety.
And you dance?
Sort of. Come on. O's for optimize your savings.
Let Avo lead the way.
Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
Nice.
Thanks.
Welcome back to the Eagle Sports Network. Oklahoma Christian trails 19-14 to Tarleton State University with 7:48 left here in the first half. Will, OC's been managing or being able to fight their way back with a couple of good threes.
Yeah, they have that three from DJ Walter was huge, specifically right there, as that was the time when the Eagles really needed it the most. Only a 5-point game. The Eagles can cut it to 2 or 3 by the end of the first half, then it's anyone's ball game.
As Bethley drives in, dishes it off to number 24, Holly. Back to Bethley now. Now to Brody for another 3 off the rim. Offensive rebound, though, for Tarleton State. It's a pass down low to Range, and he gets an easy layup. He gets it back up to 7. So now Reyes Valdez gets a screen from DJ Walter. Bethley's getting very close to stealing that ball and does. His shot is no good as it was nicely contested by Reyes Valdez. So nice job defensively for Jonathan Reyes Valdez to get the ball back, as now Aubrey Johnson gets fouled from behind the arc. So Aubrey Johnson is going to go to the free throw line to shoot 3.
And Brody right there on the foul as he hit Aubrey Johnson's hand. That's pretty unfortunate foul for Brody right there as he just kind of ran into the hand of Johnson.
As Aubrey Johnson makes the first attempt at the free throw line, still has 2 more. And Anthony Johnson, misses that one as it goes in and out of the bucket. So it is a 6-point game, still has 1 more attempt at the free throw line, and DJ Walter will check out of the ball game, as there is now 3 new players for Oklahoma Christian out on the floor. And that is number 25, Will Linhard, and then number 5, Deidrean Parma Jr., and number 2, Connor Johnson has checked into the game for the first time tonight. So Bethley now passes it off, gets it back at the top of the arc. Now to Naylor, back to Bethley, over to the right wing. Quick passes along the perimeter for Tarleton State. Pass down low to Zach Naylor, who puts up a fadeaway jumper there and knocks down the bucket. 7-point game, 6:25 left here in the first half. Aubrey Johnson drives over, brings it back out. Now to Connor Johnson, over to Marcus Blackwell. 14 seconds. Looks like Blackwell's going to run point. Gives it over to Aubrey Johnson now at the right wing. Gets double team. Now to Parma Jr. Parma Jr., 5 seconds on the shot clock. Needs to get it up. Does get a nice layup off. Tipped back in by Will Linhart. Nice awareness along the glass there.
And that is a skill that Linhart has that not many basketball players can harness the way that he does. Being able to tip the ball in like that up top, that is an art and something that really there's not much you can do to work on that and to build that skill. As the ball's on the ground, hustle there. Aubrey Johnson ends up with it.
Tries to pass it to Deidrean Palmer and is deflected and stolen away yet again. So Tarleton State has the ball, and there's an injury on the floor, and it looks like it is number 3, Randall Brody, who it looks like he's holding the back of his head. So it's looking like he took an elbow to the back of the head. It looks like he is all right as he is up and walking around.
And we are glad that he is okay. And that would have been a big loss for the Texans, losing Randall Brody, who has been kind of unstoppable tonight.
As he's already made 2 3-pointers from behind the arc, but he is now checked out of the ball game here. And it looks like it's probably for a little bit of a medical evaluation. So now Range will inbound the ball as he gives it to Bethley, as Bethley now sets up the play for Tarleton State. It's a 5-point game as we are almost at the 5-minute mark here in the first half. As Naylor almost put up a 3, instead dishes it off. That 3-point attempt from number 32 as Josh Holly is airballed, and the fans are going to let him hear that. So now Deidrean Palmer gives it to Connor Johnson for a 3 from Johnson, and that is good.
Great shot there from Connor Johnson, better known here at OC as CJ. As he doesn't shoot the ball very much in games, and he just let that one fly.
And he brings it back within 2 for Oklahoma Christian. As now with three-point attempt the other way by number 10, Dexter Johnson.
And this is heating up here in the nest.
So Will Linhart gives it to Aubrey Johnson, back to Connor. He almost put another one up. Instead, waited, and then there's a foul called down low against number 32, Josh Hawley. And that is his second foul of the game. So now Connor Johnson will be the one to inbound the ball for Oklahoma Christian. He gives it to Aubrey Johnson, who puts up a jumper. No good on the shot, rebounded by Zach Naylor. He then lobs it over to the left corner to a wide open Dexter Johnson, who then passes it back out to Hopkins to reset the play. Pass down low to Gaffney. Gaffney with the bounce pass over to Range. Range's fadeaway shot, no good, rebounded by Will Linhart. Aubrey Johnson, quick pass over to Connor Johnson. He drives in, puts up a shot, his block, but recovered by Deidre Palmer Jr. Now Aubrey Johnson at the top of the arc, holds it. As Marcus Blackwell now has it at the right wing, gets a screen, does not take the screen. Gives it over to Connor, almost throws it away. 4 seconds, needs to get a shot up, loses control of it, and that is going to be another shot clock violation for Oklahoma Christian. And that is going to be now we're going to go to our last media timeout of the first half, so we will step away and be back with more right after this.
Oh, hey, Julia. Are you ready to play band with us? I'm going to play my clarinet.
And Elmo's gonna play his drum.
Drum loud.
Oh, well, you know what to do, Julia.
Julia knows.
Mm-hmm. With Julia's autism, loud sounds can be too much.
But she still loves to make music.
Play band.
Early screening for autism can make a lifetime of difference. Find out more at screenforautism.org.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Oklahoma Christian trails by just 5 with 3:35 remaining here in this first half of play. Tarleton State does have the basketball, but OC has been just lingering around here, staying in this game.
Yeah, as it is a 5-point game. Good defense there by Linhart. But the Eagles just haven't been able to get a rebound.
There's another offensive rebound, as that is the 4th on this possession. Looked like a travel, but there was not one called, as Hopkins puts up another 3. And then there's a foul called, and it's going to be an offensive foul, and it will be Oklahoma Christian basketball. OC getting away with one there, as they allowed 4 offensive rebounds on that possession. So now DJ Walter will get ready to inbound the ball for OC. So now Marcus Blackwell gets a screen. Now to Will Linhart, over to Connor Johnson, pass down low inside the paint to the post. Deidre Palmer Jr., nice move, lays it up, tipped back in by Will, but no good on the top, and then Will with another tip back.
And that's what we're talking about. That is something that kind of just comes naturally with talent. Like the way that he can tip the ball from the front of the rim back to the side so that he can bank it and get in a good position, something you don't see very often.
As then Oklahoma Christian gets another stop offensively, and they are now within one possession, has a chance to tie it right here as CJ with the three, no good on the attempt. Rebounded by Brody. There's a good look there by Connor Johnson, just did not get it to fall. And another defensive stop for OC as Connor Johnson, quick pass over to DJ Walters for a wide open three. No good, gets his own rebound. Passes it back out to Marcus Blackwell.
And that would have been huge for this crowd here and for this home Eagles team if DJ Walter were to hit that one.
As the crowd is getting a little rowdy as they are wanting a bucket. And there was a foul before, and they're going to say offensive foul.
And Walter extended his elbow right there. I think that's the right call.
So now Oklahoma Christian still trails by 3. We have a 30-second timeout, so we're going to stay right here. Will, great defensive play right now from Oklahoma Christian.
Yeah, they're playing really well, and they're doing a good job of forcing Tarleton State to kind of get into a little bit of a frenzy with the ball. They're doing a good job of not letting them get too comfortable. You know, the beginning of the game, they were just kind of sitting along the perimeter and just relaxing and shooting at will. But now the Eagles are stepping up, and they're forcing them to make passes and forcing them into tough turnovers.
Oklahoma Christian's had a lot of good opportunities from behind the arc. They just can't get the ball to go down the net. So Oklahoma Christian, they're doing everything right that they need to, both offensively and defensively, to try to stay in this game. And even if they go into half trailing by just 2 or 3 points, that is a win for Oklahoma Christian.
Oh yeah, they're in the spot that they want to be in against this Tarleton State team, who is frankly incredibly talented. And so yeah, if they can come in 2 to 3 points behind, then it's anyone's ball game for sure. I mean, it already is.
As Naylor puts up a jumper, no good. Defensive rebound by Deidrean Palmer. And now another chance for OC to possibly get within 1 or tie it. As now Marcus Blackwell finds a little bit of a lane, starts to drive in, brings it back out, passes it down low to Will in the post. Will with the nice post move, no good on the shot, rebounded by Clayshawn Gaffney. So now Tarleton State on the offensive end. With the shot from behind the arc, no good. And strong grip there from Will Linhart as that ball was slapped in his hands and he just did not move at all. It's Marcus Blackwell now to Aubrey Johnson. We are in the final minute of play here in the first half. Blackwell drives in, nice fadeaway jumper there by Blackwell. We are within 1.
And depending on what happens in this possession, the Eagles can go into halftime with the lead, which is ideal for them.
As Boiling then gives it over to Bethley. Bethley's shot looked like it was going to be a foul on Will, but they're going to say it was blocked by Will Linhart. But Gaffney gets the rebound and lays it up. He now has 8 points.
Yeah, there's not much you can do when Gaffney gets the ball inside. He's so big, and his wingspan is just so long.
So Oklahoma Christian is going to take the final shot here of the first half, depending if there's any fouls. As Blackwell starts to drive over, puts up a fadeaway, does not get the shot to go. Last deflected, and it looks like there's going to be time on the clock, so they're going to come back and review that as they blew the whistle. And I'm going to say there's probably going to be about 5 to 6/10 of a second left.
Yeah, I mean, and there honestly could be a second left on the clock. It just depends on when that ball hit the ground or anything else that's out of bounds. And so right here, as that ball goes out of bounds, hits the ground right there, and I think that's about 0.9, maybe 1 second on the clock.
So that is plenty of time for Oklahoma Christian to do a quick inbound and shoot. So if you were Oklahoma Christian, you had 1 second left, who would you want to inbound the ball to?
I really think you have to try to get a quick bucket down low if you can, and I think you got to go to Deidrean Palmer for that. But teams tend to get into a 2-3 on inbounds plays and really clog the paint. So you're down by 3. If you want to take a 3 to try to tie the game here, it's not going to hurt. But if they do, I think they're going to go to Aubrey Johnson.
1.1 second left here in the first half. Jonathan Reyes-Valdez with the quick inbound, gives it to Aubrey Johnson. Nice little hesitation, gets the shot up, no good on the shot. So with that, Oklahoma Christian trails 28-25 going into halftime. So we will be right back with the halftime report right after this.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's put a ride home.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
Retirement?
I'd love to, but I'm pretty busy with all this.
Yeah. Hey, let's meet our retirement coach, Avo. A is for taking action.
Not anxiety?
No, Kevin, you're gonna be fine.
You sing?
Barely. V is for variety.
And you dance?
Sort of. Come on. O's for optimize your savings.
Let Avo lead the way.
Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
Nice.
Thanks.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
A strong tradition of academic excellence, a commitment to community, and a rich history of athletic success, the Lone Star Conference has long been known as a leader in intercollegiate athletics. Now with 19 institutions that embody the best in college sports, the Lone Star Conference is the largest and most dynamic conference in NCAA Division II. 19 members strong, 19 members proud. This is the new Lone Star Conference.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Sam, Elmo.
Oh, hey, Julia. you ready to play band with us? I'm gonna play my clarinet.
And Elmo's gonna play his drum. Drum loud.
Oh, well, you know what to do, Julia.
Julia knows.
With Julia's autism, loud sounds can be too much.
But she still loves to make music. Play band.
Early screening for autism can make a lifetime of difference. Find out more at screenforautism.org.
Welcome back to the Eagles Nest Oklahoma Christian Trails by just 3 to Tarleton State University. Will, what was your thoughts on the first half?
Well, I mean, keep in mind, this is one of the best teams that OC is going to face all year. This is a team that up and down their roster is really filled with Division I transfers, people that transferred to Tarleton State from Division I. This is a solid team, and the Eagles are playing with them. They're down by 3 right now, like you mentioned, and that's just because the Eagles are shooting lights out right now. They're shooting really well, and then kind of like the girls' game, how it's a mixture of good defense and getting lucky, right? It's a mixture of closing out on shooters well and putting a hand in their face, as well as just being lucky that they're missing their shots. So they're going to start hitting at some point, but that means that as soon as the half starts, the Eagles have to be the team that takes over first. Basketball is a game of runs. One team makes a run, the other team makes a run. It's all about limiting the other one. And so if the Eagles can come out and make the first run here, then they'll have a serious shot.
Well, so far they've done very good defensively at shutting down that three-headed monster between Brody, Holly, and Range. They've done outstanding defensively shutting those three down, but there's one person they cannot seem to shut down, and that is number 33, Clayshawn Gaffney, who has 8 points already.
Yeah, Gaffney, he's huge. He has an insane wingspan. He's really long. It's like if they can just push him out of the post. If they can push him towards the perimeter as soon as he gets down there, then they have a serious chance of getting the rebounds. But the problem is there's so much height on that team, and there's so much athleticism for the Texans that's why they're getting the majority of the offensive rebounds. And if they can just limit those offensive rebounds, then the Eagles would be in a good spot.
But like you said earlier, it's not like they're taking some bad shots. They're taking some wide open looks. They just can't get nothing to fall as they are shooting 3 of 12 from behind the arc, which is only 25%. And if they can get some of those shots that have gone in, and especially Marcus Blackwell, he took 2 early on, and they went in the cylinder and just rolled out.
Yeah, it seems like at some points it just feels like there's a lid on the basket for the Eagles, but they're still down by just 3. And I think the reason is that both teams have been shooting poorly, but both teams, when they've been shooting, they've been getting hot around the same times. So that's kind of been a factor of why this game is still so close. And the Eagles, if they can match, like we talked about, Tarleton State is not the best defensive team. They're really not. So the Eagles shouldn't have that much of a problem scoring. The only really real problem is inside because of just the shot blocking presences that the Texans have. But Will Linhart has done a great job of being able to get those rebounds and putbacks. But really, I think the rest of this game, we're going to see a lot of looks from the perimeter, a lot of penetrating kick looks, and that's going to really be what decides the game.
Well, that's going to do it here for our halftime report. When we come back, it will be the start of the second half as Oklahoma Christian trails by just 3. We'll be right back with more on the Eagle Sports Network.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's put a ride home.
Do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
Welcome back to the Eagle Sports Network. Oklahoma Christian trails by just 3 as we get ready to start the second half of play. And overall, Oklahoma Christian's had some great ball distribution and great team play going forward in the first half.
Yeah, they have. They've been able to come out and get open shots. They just haven't been able to hit all of them. That's kind of been the story of the season for the Eagles, just not being able to hit the shots that they need to hit. And the games where they do are the games where they shine.
Well, Oklahoma Christian needs to figure out a way to stop Clayshawn Gaffney, who has 8 points and has done very well on the glass. He has 3 rebounds. 2 of them have been offensively and 1 has been defensively, but Clayshawn Gaffney has just been a monster down low.
Yeah, he has. He's been the guy that the Eagles have really had to look out for, and they really haven't had much success stopping him, like you said. So yeah, like I mentioned during the halftime report, the Eagles are just going to have to pick him up around the high post and just be physical with him and not allow him to make a home inside.
Well, one thing that we did not talk about at halftime that has been somewhat a little bit of a surprise for Oklahoma Christian is they were not really in foul trouble at all in that first half.
No, they weren't. That's also due in part to the referees just not really being quick with their whistles, and that's not a bad thing. They're just letting the guys play, and so I think we'll see a lot more fouls in the second half. I think this has been a very aggressive game, and fouls are statistically more common in the second half. So we're going to see more fouls from both teams. I expect both teams to be in the bonus.
Well, if you watched, for people who are tuning in, if they watched the first half of the game and saw how exciting the first half was, let's get ready to see how exciting this second half is, because I guarantee it's going to be just as exciting.
Oh yeah, we are in for a good one here. There's a lot of fans here making their way back to the bleachers from concessions, and that's why this game has been so loud here in the Nest.
Now Brody has it at the left wing for Tarleton State. They have it now down in the left corner. Back up to Bethley at the top of the arc. Pass to Zach Naylor, who's started off very hot in the game. And a quick dish to an easy layup there. And OC is now down by 5. So now Jonathan Reyes-Valdez gives it to Will Linhart. Now to Aubrey Johnson. Johnson has it at the left wing, gets a screen from Palmer, takes it, starts to drive over. Quick passes along the perimeter for OC. Blackwell. Back to Jonathan Reyes-Valdez, 5 seconds on the shot clock now. As Aubrey Johnson has it, needs to get it up, lays it up, and gets the shot to go on the teardrop there. Nice counter there by Aubrey Johnson. So now Brody back to Bethley. Bethley then gives it to Naylor. His shot was highly contested by Will, and a rebound for OC as Aubrey Johnson now has the ball. So now Will Linhart hands it off to Marcus Blackwell. Marcus Blackwell drives in with his signature fadeaway jumper there from about 5 feet out. And OC trails by just 1.
And OC has played very well on offense to start this game. They've played very smart and disciplined. And on defense, they're kind of doing the same thing.
As Range now gets it in the left corner, starts to drive in. Nice little spin move there. His shot too weak as it goes off the front part of the rim. Rebounded by Will Linhart. And Will in the first half was already at 9 rebounds. With that rebound there, he's now in double digits. Palmer Jr. starts to drive in. Nice little hesitation there, lays it up on the left side of the glass and gets the nice bounce off the rim. And OC now has their first lead of the night.
And Coach Talley fired up about how his team is playing as they have the lead on these Tarleton Texans.
As Range starts to drive in, quick dish out to number 32, Holly. His shot from behind the arc, no good, and OC now with the ball and the chance to increase their lead. As Marcus Blackwell gives it to Jonathan Reyes-Valdez, who finds a little bit of a lane, then picks up his dribble. Now to Palmer, nice lob down low, and not hard enough on the lob, as it is then stolen away by Holly, but Jonathan Reyes-Valdez almost got the ball back. As now Bethley in, has it, passes it out. There's now a lot of contact there from, looks like Marcus Blackwell against Brody. Shot did not go in, but Brody will go to the free throw line to shoot 2.
And so here's Brody at the free throw line, shooting 2.
As Brody gets the friendly bounce there on that free throw attempt and ties the ball game up at 31 as there's 16:54 left here in the ball game. As Brody's second attempt is no good, rebounded by Will Linhart.
Tie game here, all knotted up at 31.
So now Marcus Blackwell over to Reyes-Valdez, who then gives it to Aubrey Johnson. And then moves over to the right side, back up to the top of the arc. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Aubrey Johnson gets a screen from Will Linhart. Pass over to a wide open Reyes-Valdez, quick pass over to Blackwell, 4-3 in the corner. Blackwell now has 7, and he finally gets that 3 to fall.
Awesome shot there by Marcus Blackwell. Now that he's seen one fall, expect him to be shooting a lot more and expect to see some better results as well.
There's a quick pass from Brody inside to Halley, who puts up a jumper at the free throw line and gets that to fall. OC is only up by 1 now. Jonathan Reyes-Valdez playing it slow. So far the refs have let him play again. Now to Blackwell, who lobs it down inside the paint. Back out to Aubrey Johnson for a 3 of his own. And the bench is fired up for Oklahoma Christian. This is a 4-point game. Almost a foul there by OC as Range puts up a 3 of his own.
In Range, living up to his name right there as he had some hands in his face right there and still managed to hit from deep.
As Marcus Blackwell gives it to Reyes-Valdez, back to Blackwell. Down towards the free throw line to Palmer. Palmer, nice move, lays it up, and looks like it was blocked from behind by Holly. So now Naylor with a nice bounce pass to Holly, and his dunk is rejected by the rim, and Marcus Blackwell gets the rebound. If that's a big momentum swing there, or stopper for Tarleton State. As Deidrean Palmer Jr. lays it up on the left or right side of the glass and is fouled, and will have a chance to convert a 3-point play. But first, we are going to have a media timeout, so we will step away.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
It's really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
A strong tradition of academic excellence, a commitment to community, and a rich history of athletic success, the Lone Star Conference has long been known as a leader in intercollegiate athletics. Now with 19 institutions that embody the best in college sports, the Lone Star Conference is the largest and most dynamic conference in NCAA Division II. 19 members strong, 19 members proud. This is the new Lone Star Conference.
Welcome back to the Eagles Nest. Oklahoma Christian leads by 3 over Tarleton State University, and Deidrean Palmer Jr. will go to the free throw line to try to convert a 3-point play for OC.
Yeah, he's been the leading scorer so far, looking to get his 9th point, which really shows just how balanced the scoring attack has been for this Eagles team.
So as Deidrean Palmer Jr.'s attempt at the free throw line is good, OC back up by 4, their largest lead of the night. And OC kind of playing a little bit of a somewhat press man coverage there. As now Hopkins finds a little bit of a lane, tries to dish it off to Gaffney, almost loses control of it. His post move, no good, as it was highly contested by Will. So now Will Linhard gives it to Deidrean Palmer Jr., who gets the ball knocked out of his hands. Could have resumed dribble there. Instead, now Marcus Blackwell has it up the right wing. Aubrey Johnson, 8 seconds, and is it to Blackwell. Blackwell starts to drive in, nice spin move. Fadeaway jumper by Blackwell, and good. So now Hopkins dishes it off to Brody. Brody at the right wing. Puts up a 3. Almost got an and one there as Aubrey Johnson somewhat collided with Brody. And Brody made the 3-point attempt. And now Brody has 10 points for Tarleton State. And now they're going to say an offensive foul on Will Linhard.
Linhard set that screen there. They're going to say he was moving, and the Eagle fans are going to let the officials have it.
And Coach Talley is not very happy with that call. So now Tarleton State catches a little bit of a break. Hopkins over to Brody, down by 3. Over to Boiling. Boiling with the jumper from the free throw line, as that is good, and Aubrey Johnson fouls him.
And just like that, it's potentially a tie game off of those 2 calls right there.
So now Boiling at the free throw line. Does not get the bucket to go. OC will still have the lead with 12:57 left here in the ball game, and OC needs to have a response here on this possession. As Deidrean Parma Jr. starts to drive in, and it looks like it is going to be a defensive foul on number 12, Zach Naylor, and that is his second foul of the game. So Reyes Valdez gives it to Aubrey Johnson for a three from the left wing, no good. A little bit of a rush shot there from Aubrey Johnson. So now Tarleton State with the chance, and that looked like Jonathan Reyes Valdez got all ball on that reach-in, but they're going to say a reach-in on Aubrey Johnson instead.
Yeah, I don't know. It looked like there was a slip there.
And if you think about it, that spot where he slipped is where there was the screen that Will Linhart had that knocked the player down. And I don't think they ever came out and wiped it up.
Yeah, that's just kind of an unfortunate situation for the Eagles, but it's not going to change too much as there's not going to be any free throw shot.
As Boiling now starts to drive in. He's covered by Reyes Valdez, and then a hip check kind of by Aubrey Johnson, and that looked like a bit of a flop.
Yeah, that's about 3 calls in a row that the Eagles fans have not been too happy about. The Eagles still have the lead here, 42-41.
So now Lands checks into the ball game, gets the inbound, passes it off. Now Gaffney. Gaffney works. Nicely, highly contested shot. And there's another foul called on Marcus Blackwell. 3 calls down at this end on 1 possession.
And I believe that was I thought that was a foul on Tarleton State, but I'm starting to think that it may have been that on the Eagles, but I'm thinking that it may have been on Tarleton State, and now it looks like we're getting a technical foul.
Yeah, it kind of looks like the ref is getting ready to call a technical foul on somebody over here. And I'm wondering if it's going to be on Tarleton State. So it looks like they just said the personal foul was on Marcus Blackwell for the hook, which was the original call. Then it looks like they're going to get a technical foul.
And that'll be on Will Linhart.
Well, it looks like it's a double tech. 1 on Will and 1 on Gaffney.
So that'll give Will 3 fouls.
So let's see right here at the end of the play. There's the foul right there, and it looks like Will says something to Gaffney, and I think Gaffney responded, and they got in each other's face.
Yeah.
If you look at the end of the replay, it kind of looks like Will says something to Gaffney right here.
Yeah, just a little extracurricular chit-chat, but the double technical won't affect the game too much either way until Will Linhart collects that 4th foul. And then you're looking at the best rebounder for this Eagles team on the bench.
So now Tarleton State will have the ball down at their own end. 12:06 left. Number 3, Brody, to inbound it to Hopkins. Hopkins starts to dribble. On the left side, gets a screen from Gaffney. Quick pass over, pass down low to Lands. Nice projection there by Will Linhart, and that's a great way to respond. So Will Linhart hands it off to Marcus Blackwell. Now gives it off to DJ Walters, now to Reyes Valdez on the right side. Finds a lane towards the basket, and it looks like there was a bit of a blocking foul on Hopkins.
And so that'll bring us to our second media timeout. Eagles lead by 1. A lot of fouls early on. We'll be right back after this break.
For taking action.
Not anxiety?
No, Kevin, you're gonna be fine.
You sing?
Barely. V is for variety.
And you dance?
Sort of. Come on. O is for optimize your savings.
Let Avo lead the way.
Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
Nice.
Thanks. Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Welcome back to the Eagle Sports Network as Oklahoma Christian leads 42-41 over the Texans of Tarleton State. And now Oklahoma Christian will have the ball down at their own end. So now Blackwell to inbound the ball. Gives it to DJ Walter. Walter then moves over, almost tried to pass it to Blackwell, and Blackwell was not paying attention. Good job with Walters to hold on to that. Reyes Valdez then gives it to Palmer, finds a lane, lays it up, gets fouled, and will go to the free throw line yet again. And the foul is on Lands. So Deidrean Palmer already been to the free throw line a few times here tonight and has done very well from the line. As he looks to try to increase the lead here. His first attempt is no good on the shot.
Tough miss there for Deidrean Palmer. He's usually a pretty good free throw shooter.
So now Deidrean Palmer will try to make it a 2-point game here with 11:27 left. And he does do that. So now OC playing a little bit of a tight man coverage. So now Hopkins at the left wing. Nice little spin move there. Finds a way to get to the hoop. A nice play created there by Hopkins.
That was a dynamic play there by Hopkins. And here's Reyes Valdez looking to answer.
As it looks like that is then stolen away by Brody. And Brody, that explosiveness that he has, gives the Texans a 2-point lead. So Marcus Blackwell drives over his jumper. No good. Saved by Walters, but he steps out of bounds as he caught the ball. So now the Texans will try to increase their lead here as we are about at the halfway point of the second half. Almost stolen away by Reyes Valdez. Then Brody.
Travel there by Brody.
Brody drives, and he did look like a travel as he managed to go all the way from the three-point line to inside the paint. So now Reyes Valdez passes it off to Will. Will then gives it to Marcus Blackwell. 4-point game down to DJ Walter, or to DJ Palmer Jr., excuse me. And then a reach-in foul called on Lands. And that is going to be Lands' second foul.
And so that's just 6 fouls. So no free throws, but the Eagles are now in the bonus, so next foul will be free throws.
20 seconds were added onto the shot clock. So now Blackwell will have it. 9 seconds left. Blackwell starts to drive over, gets a little bit of a screen, gives it to Palmer Jr. for 3 at the top of the arc. Nothing but net.
And the Eagles needed that three-pointer there by Deidrean Palmer. That was the best time for it.
So now Hopkins drives in, loses control of it, and it goes out of bounds. And that is a turnover Oklahoma Christian desperately needed.
Just like we talked about before, as basketball being a game of runs, Tarleton State just had a run, and now the Eagles need to be able to squash that one and start a run of their own.
So now Reyes Valdez hands it off to Will Inhart. Now to Aubrey Johnson with a quick jumper, and that was a three-point attempt, and OC is now back up by 2. It's now Brody. Quick passes, now to Hopkins, back to Brody in the left corner. Brody moves up, brings it back up to the top of the arc, starts to drive in, and they're gonna say another foul called on Aubrey Johnson, and that is gonna be his 4th foul of the game.
So DJ Walter will check back in. That's just unfortunate there for Aubrey Johnson, is on that series of that offensive series for the Texans when there were about 3 fouls called just in that one. I think 2 of those went to Aubrey Johnson. So that's really hurt him.
So now Brody at the free throw line. Makes the first attempt, will have another. It's Brody's second attempt to try to tie the game, and that is good. So now Marcus Blackwell will get ready to inbound the ball to Reyes Valdez, and Reyes Valdez brings it up. 8:50 left, tie ball game. Now to DJ Walter, back to Reyes Valdez, tries to pass it down low instead. Gets a little bit of a screen over to Blackwell, and back to Walter. Down low now, inside the paint. Palmer, nice move. Nice spin move, another move. Lays it off, no good. Looked like a rebound by Will. Instead, there's a scramble on the floor. We have a jump ball.
That's Texan ball.
But actually, I'm wondering if there was a timeout called after. So now they're saying that it's going to be Oklahoma Christian's ball, as there was a little bit of a technical error, and Oklahoma Christian should have had the possession arrow to start.
Yeah, and I guess the arrow never switched at halftime when it was supposed to.
So now, Oklahoma Christian will remain to have the ball, as now the refs are going to discuss something on the floor. And it looks like they're going to go to replay, or they're going to go to the timekeeper to make sure about the possession arrow, but it also looks like they're going to change the shot clock from 19 seconds down to 18 seconds. So Reyes Valdez with the inbound to Palmer Jr. Nice move there, lays it up. What a move, and gets the foul. Could not get the bucket to go, but it is on Gaffney, and that is Gaffney's 3rd foul of the game.
And that's the guy you want to get into foul trouble. He's been killing the Eagles today. And Dadrian Palmer is just so good at drawing those and ones. I know this one didn't end up being an and one. I'm surprised it didn't, as the ball just rolled right out.
Well, Dadrian Palmer is also one of those that he is very good at doing a hesitation pump fake before laying up the shot.
Yeah, and that's just part of the skill of being able to draw fouls, is kind of being able to see what's going to happen in the air before you even leave the ground.
So now Connor Johnson is going to check into the ball game. And it looks like it's going to be for Marcus Blackwell. It's Palmer Jr.'s first attempt at the line is good, and OC regains the lead. And Dadrian Palmer Jr. now has 14 points and has a chance to make it 15 points. And he will do that. So now Hopkins up to Naylor. Hopkins moves over to the right side, brings it back out. Now to Boiling. Now to Dexter Johnson. Pass down low to Gaffney. Gaffney with the nice post move there. Ties it up. So now Reyes Valdez along the right side, gives it back to Will. Will Inhart then dishes it off to Connor Johnson, back to Reyes Valdez at the right wing. Drive in, forced to pick up his dribble, gives it to Palmer Jr. Now to DJ Walter, 10 seconds on the shot clock. Over to Reyes Valdez for three. Too strong on the shot, rebounded by Zach Naylor. It's Hopkins on the left side. Gives it to Boiling. Boiling then dishes it off to Dexter Johnson. Nice little fake on the shot to a pass to Naylor, and Naylor will lay it up on the right side of the glass and give the Texans the lead. So now, Reyes Valdez finds a little bit of a lane. Nice little floater, too strong on the floater. It looked like he rushed it.
Yeah, that was a good move by Reyes Valdez. Just not the best job of finishing there. A little too strong.
As Hopkins drives in, lays it up, no good on the shot. Rebounded by Connor Johnson. And Connor Johnson is going to call a timeout. So that should force our next media timeout. So we are going to step away as OC trails by just 2.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie. Nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out?
Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Welcome back to the Eagle Sports Network. Oklahoma Christian has the ball down at their own end, trailing by just 2 with 6:37 left here in the ball game. Will Oklahoma Christian matched up fairly well against Tarleton State.
Yeah, they've done a good job of matching up and really forcing their hand and taking the shots that they're not too comfortable with. And I think that's what they've kind of done best. And then on offense, just being patient and waiting for the right shot. They've run the shot clock down to about 8 seconds on a lot of these possessions and just trying to force the best shot possible.
So now Marcus Blackwell and Aubrey Johnson check back in the game. Aubrey Johnson's got to be fairly careful as he already has 4 fouls, and the next foul will foul him out. Steven Palmer with the spin move loses control of it, and they're going to say jump ball, but I don't know how that was a jump ball when Palmer Jr. had control of it and the guy was just laying on his back.
Yeah, and I think that's better off called a jump ball than a travel, because that means that the next jump ball, then the Eagles will get it back.
So it looks like a timeout was called. I'm going to assume it's by Tarleton State. If not, or actually it looks like it was by Coach Talley because he wants an explanation on how that was a jump ball.
Yeah, and Tarleton State, they want to score here. They're going to draw something up because they want to go ahead and take advantage of this and get the ball in the bucket.
So Oklahoma Christian down by 2. Biggest factor right now is Aubrey Johnson, one of their top scorers on the night. And like you said at the start of the broadcast, when Aubrey Johnson's going, the whole team is going. But Aubrey Johnson already has 4 fouls.
Yeah, and that's been kind of a struggle here. Not really kind of, it's definitely been a struggle here for the Eagles because he's their best shooter. And he's the guy that from beyond the arc, he's the one they rely on. So yeah, it's really hurt them for him being out. And it looks like He might be coming back into this game here after this timeout. 6:14 remaining. He's just going to have to be really careful.
He's going to have to make sure he doesn't try to reach in and try to poke the ball away, which that's how most of the time people end up in foul trouble, is they try to reach in and poke the ball free and they get called for a reach-in. So Aubrey Johnson needs to be careful defensively down at Tarleton State's end. And you can bet Tarleton State's going to try to attack it. Brody, quick passes by Tarleton State. No one even dribbling, they're just passing the ball around. As Brody starts to drive in, step back, jumper three, highly contested by Aubrey Johnson, and he gets the rebound. So now OC down by just 2 with 5:40 left. To Blackwell, now to Palmer Jr. Aubrey Johnson passes down inside, back out to Reyes Valdez, back down inside to the post. Palmer Jr. lays it up, and he is fouled on the shot. And that shot to me looked like it was more blocked than it was a foul.
So Palmer can come to the charity stripe and try to make it a tie game. That would be nice for the Eagles, especially considering the lead that the Texans just recently took, and that first free throw is good for Palmer.
So Palmer is now 7 of 8 from the free throw line. He still has one more attempt, and he makes that one. He now has 17 on the evening for Oklahoma Christian. As Hopkins has the ball at the top of the arc, tied at 53 apiece. As Naylor almost loses control of it, saves it, back to Hopkins now. Over, back to Naylor, pass down low to Range. Range lays it up, tries to pass it out. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Step back. And there's going to be an offensive foul on Brody, and that gets the crowd back into the game.
And just under 5 minutes, the crowd is on their feet. And this could be a big difference here for the Eagles going into the home stretch of this one.
If Oklahoma Christian can score on this possession, that is going to be a big momentum boost for them. As Marcus Blackwell has it, passes it to the top of the arc to Will Winhard. Will then gives it to Aubrey Johnson, 10 seconds. On the shot clock, now 5 to Will. Will had a lane and instead tried to pass it to Palmer Jr. and passed it too hard. And it goes off Palmer Jr.'s hand and out of bounds. Missed opportunity there for Oklahoma Christian. Now Hopkins at the top. Over to Range. Now to Brody. Brody with the no-look pass to Naylor. Pass down low to number 32, Holly. And his shot is too strong. Rebounded by OC. 4 minutes left. 53 apiece. OC with the ball. Palmer Jr. gives it to Reyes Valdez. Reyes Valdez then passes it to Palmer. Palmer lays it up on the right side and in.
Huge shot there by Dadrian Palmer. OC taking the lead, up by 2. A big stop here, if they can get one.
So now, Naylor at the top gives it to Hopkins. OC gets a stop here. This crowd's going to go wild.
And I think that's the right call. The crowd's going to be upset about that, but I think that is the right call. There was contact as Hopkins was driving.
But it looks like the players on the floor were wanting a travel there.
And I think they're going to say that that was on Aubrey Johnson, and he's going to foul out. which is really one of the last players you want to foul out for the Eagles.
So now, it looks like now the captain of the team now bang out on the floor for OC is going to be Dadrian Palmer Jr. So we have our full timeout. We are going to step away and be back with the rest right after this.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
So as you can see right here, here's the controversial call. And they're saying it was on Aubrey Johnson. I don't see much of a contact there by Aubrey Johnson. It looked like it was more on Will Linhard. But Aubrey Johnson is now fouled out of the ball game, and Hopkins makes the first attempt at the free throw line, and we'll have one more.
Yeah, and I think they're going to say that Hopkins caught the body of Aubrey Johnson before he took that jump stop over towards Linhard. It's an unfortunate situation for the Eagles.
So Hopkins for the tie. And it is now 55 apiece. Jonathan Reyes Valdez brings it up on the left side, gives it to Will Linhard, who then gives it to Palmer Jr. Back to Blackwell, and then there's a foul down low, and that is going to send Palmer Jr. to the free throw line.
And that's who you want. If you're the Eagles, that's who you want shooting free throws.
And that is going to put Zach Naylor at 4 fouls. And not a lot of people say that is big, but Zach Naylor's been a pretty key player here in this game as he has his spurts of getting hot.
As Naylor, who's come from probably the biggest school. He's a transfer from Ole Miss, University of Mississippi in Oxford. And him being out of this game is pretty huge.
So, Dadrian Palmer Jr. makes both attempts. Now has 21 on the evening for OC and regains the lead. Hopkins starts to drive over. Nice, highly contested shot by Will, but a nice layup there by Hopkins to get the bucket.
So I think right here you're gonna go back to Dadrian Palmer. I don't see why they wouldn't. That's their guy.
Palmer then gives it to Reyes Valdez, who's been kind of quiet here tonight. Only making one three-point attempt early on. Now to Palmer, back out to Blackwell. Blackwell starts to drive in. Highly contested shot, no good. Tipped back up. Almost rebounded by Will Linhard, but instead rebounded by Brody.
And they're going to need a stop.
So now Brody on the right side. Drives in, finds a way. Nicely blocked by Will. We have a tie-up.
And I think that's going to be a timeout. I think they're going to say they called timeout.
And now we had a push, and that should be a technical foul by Brody. We have almost a fight breaking out here at the Eagles' nest.
And a lot of extracurriculars there, especially with Gaffney and Brody and Blackwell. And we're going to have a handful of technicals given out here. Blackwell already has one. He's going to be done. He's probably going to have to miss the next game as well.
We still have to wait for the final call here. And the refs, it looks like they have made their decision on who's going to have technical fouls.
They're going to say timeout from Tarleton, so no jump ball.
So it will be Tarleton basketball down at their own end, at least with 2 minutes left here in the ball game. And it looks like they're going to make the technical foul on Marcus Blackwell. So he is going to be done for the night since he already had one technical foul earlier. But it looked like they said the other technical foul was on number 3, which is Brody, and he was the one getting up from the floor that made the initial push.
And so that is the second on Marcus Blackwell, so he's done.
So it's a double tech. Tarleton State will have the basketball. And Oklahoma Christian so far has played somewhat of a clean game. I feel like Oklahoma Christian has played a greatly clean game. It's just here at the end, because it's such a close game, all emotions are high because this is a big game for both teams going on.
Oh, yeah, and really that's a double technical, but a lot of other technicals could have been handed out, especially if they go and watch the replay, because there was a full-on push from Gaffney.
So now Gaffney is back in on the floor. He has 3 fouls, and Naylor is also out there who has 4. So Tarleton State basketball, 2 minutes left. On the inbound, Naylor.
And so Blackwell will be back in this game, as that technical earlier was on Linhard and not Blackwell.
So big break for OC as DJ Walter gets the rebound, and OC is down by, is tied up at 57 with Tarleton State. A minute 40 left. Reyes Valdez needs to pass the ball. Instead, he calls a timeout. Good job there by Jonathan Reyes Valdez. Instead of forcing something, just calling the quick timeout. And it looks like it's going to be a 30-second timeout. So we're going to stay right here. So how big is it that Marcus Blackwell is still in this game?
Oh, it's big, as we both thought that technical foul from earlier in the game was on Marcus Blackwell, but remembering back, that was actually on Will Linhard, as we were both surprised to see that it was Linhard when we thought it was Blackwell. So yeah, that's a big break for Blackwell to stay in this game, because they would have had to go into their bench and get guys that haven't even really played all game. You know, Connor Johnson, who's only played very little, would have to come in after sitting a lot and being a little tight and cold, and he'd have to come in and kind of get into a groove with only a minute and a half left.
So now DJ Walters will inbound the ball to Jonathan Reyes Valdez. He starts to drive over, dishes it off. Now to Deidrean Palmer. Minute 30 left. Blackwell tries to pass it down and is deflected by range and stolen away.
And they've tried that pass a lot, and it hasn't worked yet, just because this Tarleton State team is so tall, so long. Longer and taller than most of the teams that they're going to play.
As Hopkins gives it to Brody, now over to Range. Range, 10 seconds left on the shot clock. We are down to the final minute of play. Over to Brody. Brody can shoot threes. Starts to drive in 5 seconds. Nice move. Finds a way to get some separation, and nice job making that bucket there for Tarleton State.
Yeah, that was a good break there by Tarleton State. Not the best shot for Brody, and still found a way to get it in.
So now Oklahoma Christian needs to try to find a way to get either to the free throw line or get to the glass and make an easy bucket here.
Only one timeout for Coach Talley. He's going to have to save that. DJ Walter, three-pointer. Off the mark. Rebound Tarleton State.
So now Brody has control of the ball. Gives it over to Hopkins. There's like 0.2 of a second between the game clock and shot clock, and we have an instant foul, and it looks like it is going to be on Palmer Jr. And he had a foul to give, but the only problem is that's going to send Brody, one of their best free throw shooters, to the free throw line.
Yeah, he's 3 of 4 so far. And so it is double bonus too, so he'll get 2 chances. So really one miss here would be, at least one miss here would be.
So the fans are gonna try and get into Brody's head as he makes the first attempt. And there's gonna be a timeout called by Tarleton State, and it's a 30-second timeout, so we're gonna stay here. So if Tarleton State makes this attempt, Oklahoma Christian is gonna have to try to drive down and make a quick layup or something and try to generate a foul and try to make it a 3-point play.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the same situation that was the girls' game. Especially if they miss this, then the Eagles have 1 timeout. If they don't have to take the timeout here. Especially if it's a miss, then you go get a quick 2, feed Will Linhard, feed Dadrian Palmer. It doesn't matter. One of those guys, get them down low and just try to score inside. And really, I mean, there's a good chance of there being a foul on there too. So you have two options right there, and then the second one is going for the 3-pointer. Now, if Brody makes this to make it a 4-point game, that completely changes what you want to do. I don't think you take a 3 if Brody makes this. I think you go look for the quick 2, and then you have guys on the perimeter spotting up. If you have a wide open shot, take that one. But I don't think Coach Talley needs to call a timeout just yet.
As Brody gets the lucky bounce on the free throw attempt and makes it as Reyes Valdez needs to move.
They got to go quick.
Starts to drive in, 12 seconds on the shot clock, and there's a reach in.
Oh, and that's a big foul.
Got number 14, who is Hopkins. That is his second, so Reyes Valdez is going to go to the free throw line, and that puts Oklahoma Christian in the double bonus. So Reyes Valdez is going to shoot 2 no matter what.
So he is going to have to hit these 2.
So that helps Oklahoma Christian right there. At least surviving another possession here if Reyes Valdez makes both attempts.
And especially if he makes both attempts, then the Eagles can set up in something on defense to get a steal. Making this one can also give him a little bit of insurance so that Tarleton State can make one and miss one, and they'll still have a chance.
And Coach Talley's going to take his final timeout. And in all honesty, if it's me, I don't know if I would have taken that timeout just yet.
Well, I think Coach Talley wants to draw something up for his team to set up in on defense, something that can confuse him a little bit, maybe try to force a turnover. But also, the Texans have one timeout as well, so they could come out and see what Coach Talley's in, and they could. Coach Raisman could call a timeout himself and change it up. So you really never know coming down into these last 10.8 seconds of this game. Like I said, Jonathan Reyes, he made both free throws, gave him, and that gives, like I said before, a little bit of insurance so that if Tarleton State, if there's a foul, assuming that it's not a turnover, if Tarleton State makes one, misses one, that's still a 3-point game. You can still shoot a 3-pointer to go to overtime.
So such a close game. It's been a very exciting game all the way from the start. So Oklahoma Christian has a chance here, only down by 2. It is going to be Tarleton State ball. We've seen it before where Oklahoma Christian has been able to do a tight press coverage and get the ball on an inbound. But I can guarantee that Tarleton State is most likely going to call their timeout after Coach Talley brings his players out on the floor and they get a look.
Yeah, I'd imagine they would, and unless they have something drawn up that they're really confident in, then I'd imagine they'll probably call a timeout. See, we have 2 guys. We have Range and we have Johnson coming back here. I think we might see a screen on one of these guys in the back corners, pushing them up to get the ball.
Tarleton State's actually going to let the play go, and that's going to be a quick foul. And now Brody got a lucky bounce on the last free throw attempt that he took. So hopefully, we're going to see if the crowd can get into his head here and force him to miss one free throw. Because that's all Oklahoma Christian needs right now for a chance to tie the game.
They just need one miss. There it is.
And he does miss the first free throw attempt. So now Oklahoma Christian has a chance. Here's the only thing is they have no timeouts.
No timeouts. But I think that works in the Eagles' favor. A lot of coaches in this situation won't call a timeout anyway because they want their team to get an outlet.
To get more separation.
Exactly. So if he misses this, Eagles could go win the game right here.
That's Brody.
And he does.
Misses it.
Here we go.
Reyes Valdez, 6 seconds on the shot clock. Starts to drive in. And they're going to say a charge, but that looked like Brody was moving with him still.
And Coach Talley wants them to review it. I'm not sure if you can review a block or a charge.
And to me, that looked...
If you can, you have to review it. I'm not sure about that call.
That is a very critical play, and that should be reviewable. But they are not going to take a chance to review it because it looked like Brody there was walking with him. As a quick inbound to Hopkins.
And that foul came, a few more ticks came off of the clock.
So Hopkins yet to be at the free throw line here tonight. Here's the big question though. If they make one or miss one, do you purposely miss to try to let that clock tick down?
Yeah, that's where it's interesting. I mean, obviously you want to try to make both of them, right? So this one is up, and that one's good. So you want to try to make this next one. But, I mean, the Eagles don't have much left. They don't have a timeout, so.
So now the crowd needs to try to get into it to try to make Hopkins miss this attempt at the free throw line.
So you can get a couple dribbles before you get a shot here. If this is a miss.
So Hopkins makes that attempt. It is now a 4-point game. Quick inbound. As Palmer Jr.'s attempt is no good as it was just short. And with that, Oklahoma Christian loses 63-59 to the Texans of Tarleton State University. And we'll be back with the post-game and interview with Coach Talley right after this.
Retirement?
I'd love to, but I'm pretty busy with all this.
Yeah. Hey, let's meet our retirement coach, Avo. A is for taking action.
Not anxiety?
No, Kevin, you're gonna be fine.
You sing?
Barely. V is for variety.
And you dance?
Sort of. Come on. O's for optimize your savings.
Let Avo lead the way.
Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
Nice.
Thanks. Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
Good evening and welcome back to The Nest. I'm Will Hadley. Alongside me is the coach of the Eagles, Coach Kendra Talley. Coach Talley, close loss tonight. It was a tough loss. I know you talked to Zach before the game and that you told him that this is one of the toughest teams that we'll face. This is a really quality team.
Yeah, they're just some tough guys. They got a lot of athleticism and size. We struggled with it early. Just turned the ball over kind of late, and made some bad decisions and kind of gave them that game. But the guys fought hard, and as long as they go 100%, I'm okay with the result.
So a big loss was losing Aubrey Johnson to foul trouble. One thing that we talked about during the game was that it seems like in a lot of these games, when Aubrey is hot, then everyone else kind of starts to get hot. So what is it about Aubrey's leadership and his ability to shine?
Just team? Being a senior, these guys look up to him. So without him on the floor sometime, someone else has to step up, and they did a good job tonight. But we struggled a little bit when Aubrey got out the game.
And then obviously Dadrian Parmer has been awesome this season. He had 21 points, 7 rebounds, and he's been great at the free throw line all season long. What's it been like for him, coming in and being, the new guy, as people always put it? Has he really skipped a beat at all?
Well, they say OC is home. He got here and got comfortable. The guys gelled to him, and he's been doing a great job leading us so far. So I don't think he's uncomfortable. I don't think he feels like a new guy. Those are his brothers, and, we go to war with them. So. Yeah,
I mean, it certainly looks like it as when we see these guys out here, I mean, they always have each other's backs. Yeah. Dadrian's always the first one to come up and pick his brothers up and everything, and that's just kind of what everyone else sees, especially fans, shows like the quality of the team and how they're coached and how much of a bond they are together.
Yeah, we're just going to keep trying to grind and, do things the right way, and that ball will start to bounce our way. Excuse me.
And then last question, I'll let you go to the locker room. Got a familiar face coming in on Saturday with Dallas Baptist. What do you expect to see from Dallas Baptist?
Just a real well-coached ball club, so we got to be ready for a lot of different things, and that's what we'll do, preparing tomorrow and watching some film and just getting the guys ready for another tough game. I mean, that's the Lone Star Conference for you. So.
Well, thanks, Coach. I'm Will Hadley. Alongside me is Coach Kendra Talley. We'll be right back after this break with some more postgame.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie. Nailed it. We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's put a ride home.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out?
Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Welcome back to the Eagles Nest. Oklahoma Christian falling just short, 59-63 to Tarleton State University. Will, it came down, on all honesty, to one call, and that was the charge call that they did not go back and review. Why do you think that is?
Well, that's the thing. I'm not sure at the Division II level if you can review a block or a charge. I'm pretty sure at Division I you can. I know at professional level you can, but I'm not sure about the Division II level. So that's up in the air whether they could have reviewed it or not. But there's also the option that the referees called it and they knew that that was the call. You know, I mean, there's a difference between an indefinite call and a judgment call. You know, a judgment call would be like whether something is a foul or not, stuff and things like that. But an indefinite call is like, did the ball go out of bounds? You know, did the ball touch the rim on a shot clock violation? Things like that. Those are things you can review. But when it's a block or a charge, and when it's a judgment call especially, then it's pretty dangerous to review those.
Well, Oklahoma Christian, either way, stayed in the game all the way throughout against a very highly scoring team, as they've averaged about 89 points a game this season. But Oklahoma Christian, being one of the best defensive teams in the Lone Star Conference, only held them to just 63. Why is that?
Well, like Coach Talley mentioned earlier, this is a tough team. You know, these are guys that love each other. They it's a bond, and they call each other brothers for a reason. And that's really what defense is. It's not only is it playing hard individually, but it's being able to cooperate as a unit. You know, knowing who's in help side. You know, who's got ball, who's denying the ball, who's got that backside lob. Just a lot of things like that, and it just comes to how you communicate with each other when you're on the floor.
So after this tough loss here at home, how do they go into the locker room, talk about it, try to move on from it, knowing that they got a game against Dallas Baptist University this coming Saturday here at home?
Well, I think you just gotta toughen up, have a short memory, and get out and compete. You know, use every loss as fuel for the next game.
Well, that's going to do it for us here at the Eagles Nest. Make sure you tune in on Saturday as the girls of Oklahoma Christian get ready to take on Texas Women's University, and the men get ready to take on Dallas Baptist University here this coming Saturday. Thanks for everyone watching. That's going to do it for us. Good night.
A strong tradition of academic excellence, a commitment to community, and a rich history of athletic success, the Lone Star Conference has long been known as a leader in intercollegiate athletics. Now with 19 institutions that embody the best in college sports, the Lone Star Conference is the largest and most dynamic conference in NCAA Division II. 19 members strong, 19 members proud. This is the new Lone Star Conference.